And welcome everybody to the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Thanks to everybody who's been tuning into our live streams. They have been blowing up. Something fierce. It's exciting. And yeah, today we'll be talking, maybe we'll talk bike riding, but we're talking space weather, earth weather, regular old everyday news, because hey, we're the least busted name in it. So cheers. Cheers, y'all. As I do a striptease to start out the video. How you like them apples? That's good, right? Oh yes. Look at he's taking it all off. He really isn't taking it all off. He's taking off his chest strap. All right. So yeah, what's going on today, YouTube crew? So far, nobody sees the video. So that's one thing that's going on. A heaping helping a zilch. Yeah, so what has happened over the weekend? Any interesting news stories? I know we had some geomagnetic storm activity. That's always interesting, right? And I'm just here in the SNN kitchen. Yeah, the kitchen at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, because it's egg time. Yeah, egg time. So I did a little 9-miler this morning. And, you know, if you don't see our shorts, let me tell you in this video. Don't forget to stop and smell the roses, folks. Don't let life just pass you by. There's a lot of really tasty roses to smell. So let us know in the comments what roses you're smelling. We're always interested in hearing what our viewers are up to. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's been going on as far as news stories, but you know, I'm sure there's something. So tell us in the comments what you're thinking about, and thanks for leaving a comment, Coco Jinx. Coco Jinx named his chicken Haley Welch, and now it says Bakaktua. All right, that's a pretty good one. Nice. Well done. Perhaps we have to hire you as a writer, Coco Jinx. And thanks for saying hi, Ed Cycling. Thanks for tuning in. And while I'm here talking about things, shout out to Volt Cyclewear. And shout out to Dream Firms. Yeah, the crew at Dream Firms. Coco Jinx will work for free. Well, geez, drop us a line. I mean, you can find us all over social media. And to the rest of you, if you're not following, make sure you follow us on Twitter. You know, there's a permanent invite link to our Discord channel. That's the best way to get a hold of me. It's like sending an instant message without me giving you my phone number. We even have an IP phone, so, you know, hit us up on the website at smashomash.com. Least busted name in news, folks. Because we don't talk nonsense. It's pretty easy to not mislead your viewers. And remember, folks, there's a fine line between misrepresentation and fraud, and that line is intent. Yeah, intent. So, Ed Cycling asks, do I do road cycling? Yeah, you could say that. And if you're wondering if I'm serious or not, well, I'm paid to ride a bike this year, and see that? Yeah, that's a disc wheel. So I'm a time trial specialist. And I became a living billboard via cross-country mountain bike racing back in 1999. So that's, I started in 97. And perhaps I'm dating myself a little bit here right now. But if anybody would like to try to go up a hill faster than me, come to Lehigh Valley. I'll show you some big hills, some steep hills, and we'll look at your power. If you think you can outclass, I'm at my race weight, you know, and I'm at my race weight, or I'm about, you know, 4 or 5 pounds above my race weight maybe, but it's close enough. You're not going to notice a difference. So yeah, I can go uphill kind of like a rocket. Bear with me, folks. Leave comments. I'll be back in two shakes of a road-killed squirrel tail. All right. Now, do you think I should put Swiss cheese on the eggs, or, you know, I got a broken yolk? I don't know. It's a shame. It's a crying shame, folks. Broken Yoke. Let's see. Kansas Owens says, Kansas Owens, a nice name. We got awesome names today. I love that. YouTube usernames. Oh, it's so fun. And I've got a number of them myself, because if you watch those stupid channels on YouTube that mute you for leaving comments, yeah, make more accounts and keep leaving the comments. And because they're not going to block every account. So comment it up. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, lots of comments, folks, and thanks everybody for leaving comments. We read every single one that is left, so definitely leave comments. I'm going to get to them here in just a minute. Don't get mad if I haven't gotten to yours yet. And if you really want me to handle your comment, well, leave a super chat. That's a guarantee that I'll be talking to your comment. I'll be speaking to your comment. Please be thoughtful and considerate of the other viewers. And if you have a wrench, please don't mute anybody. Please leave your chat controls alone. We are a real free speech channel, okay? So this channel, we're true free speech advocates. We endorse any speech as long as it's not an actual crime to say what you want to say. Because there's some stuff that you can say that's technically illegal. So I'm against that kind of speech. But the rest of it, there are no bad words. If you can't handle words, how about becoming an adult? Maybe try that. That might be good. Do I eat cats? That's a good question. Not that I know of. So Ed Cycling asks, and I love this question. Thanks for asking. Any tips for a budget time trial bike? Yeah, man. Used bikes. So the first thing I recommend, all right, is see if your local shop sells used bikes. All right. I ride for a shop called The Velo Shop. You can check it out, theveloshop.net. They don't sell used bikes. Okay. But you can get an absolutely Tour de France ready bike that's not significantly different than what they rode in the Tour de France this year in terms of the actual performance. Get a rim brake bike. Don't work. Rim brakes are still spectacular, and half of the freaking serious riders out there are still riding rim brakes. I have never owned a bike with disc brakes. So if you want a new one, but if your local bike shop, right, if your local bike shop doesn't have what you're looking for, okay, try your local cycling club. There's one everywhere pretty much in the whole country. So just look up, put in your zip code, type in cycling club, and get a hold of them, right? Ask people, because the cycling community is vast, to say the least. So I ride for the biggest club in Lehigh Valley called Lehigh Valley Cycling Club, not coincidentally. And I ride for a local shop. So my USAC trade team is theveloshop.net. That's my team. Club is the Lehigh Valley Cycling Club. So yeah, ask other cyclists. That's the best place. It depends on what size you are. But you can go on all kinds of websites, and you can measure yourself, measure your legs, measure your torso, your arm length, all that stuff to figure out exactly what size you need. And yeah, you will find, look, if you're willing to spend $2,000 on a time trial bike, you will get an absolutely bonkers TT bike. I was looking at a BMC Time Machine. It was like $2,300. It had a pair of Zip 808s on it. Okay. Those are some of the best wheels in the world. Zip 808s by themselves are worth $2,000. So that was a rim brake bike, and I actually need a new TT bike myself, because that wheel that I showed you, that's a 650 wheel. So it's 26 inch. It's not a standard road bike size wheel. It's a 650C bike for my Trek Hilo, and it's old. But you know what? If you're aero and you got an aero bike, it goes fast. Believe me. I mean, you got to spend a lot of time riding in the time trial position, but you would not believe how shockingly fast those things go. It's bonkers. So, do I eat cats? The answer is no. I don't eat cats. I mean, If I went to a place where cats were a delicacy, I would probably eat cats. Like, I don't really care. Like, I mean, if you go someplace where they eat cats, you might as well eat cats because they're not going to stop eating cats because you don't like it. Right? So, I don't eat cats, but I eat lots of stuff that I don't actually like because vitamins and minerals, baby. Vitamins and minerals. I like eggs, though. So, yeah, no cats. That's disgusting. I mean, I suspect that they probably don't taste good. I mean, anybody eating cats, I imagine it would be gamey, right? Like, they're a carnivore, so how good could it be? They're all full of ammonia, you know, piss and vinegar. So anybody know anything about any news stories? I'm just going to wolf down these eggs real quick, and then I'm going to cover some myself. Because I didn't read any over the weekend. But, oh man. Oh, so good. That is how to start your day, folks. Man, oh man. I didn't even upload the short that I made because I wanted to talk to you people. Yeah, you people. All right, what else do we have? Lucifer666 says, Emperor Lucifer, Prince and Master of the rebellious spirits, I adjure you to leave your abode, wheresoever in the world it may be, to come and speak with me. I command you and conjure you. Devilface666. I don't think you're the boss, so that's a nice try. It's very cute, Lucifer666. I hope you're the band, Lucifer, because if I'm talking to the band Lucifer, I am starstruck. Starstruck. If you've ever heard the band Lucifer, you're missing out. If you've never heard the band Lucifer, you're missing out big time because they are spectacular. Oh my gosh. Morning to SB Thora Sailing. Cheers. Welcome to all our wrench wielders. Love Pulling Cat Cheek says, stop eating cats. I have a fat cat. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat your cat. That sounds gross. What do you call a lesbian dinosaur? A lick-a-lot. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's, maybe I got to take a screenshot of that one. Boom. Screenshot taken, folks. I'll share it, all right? It's going to the Instagram stories. So if you don't follow us there, maybe you oughta. All right, what else do we have? Yeah, disc brakes are blah. Who wants to have hydraulic fluid and have to bleed brakes and stuff on a bicycle? Like, it's way harder to work on your bike. You know, if you put a new stem on your road bike and you have disc brakes that are routed through the stem, you got to run new brake lines because they're going to be a different length and they have to fit inside the frame. Like, do you really want to deal with that? And if you take it to a shop for that, it's going to cost you like $200 because it's going to take them like 2 hours to change out your stem. Whereas if you have rim brakes, it takes like 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean, look, if you got to ride at the pro level, if you need all the newest everything, then definitely get a disc brake bike. The advantages, most of them outweigh, and most of them counteract each other, right? Most of them cancel each other out, but yeah, disc brakes. It's still a controversy, and with good reason. It's and look, if you crash and you ding your disc brake, your disc, the actual disc itself, if you ding that and it's bent, how do you get home? You got to take the disc off. If you don't have a wrench, you got to take the disc off or it's not going to turn because it's not going to go through the caliper. So, I started as a mountain bike racer. So when I was racing mountain bike, people were already riding disc brakes and I never had them. I still don't have one single bike ever that has disc brakes. It's coming soon, probably next year, but... Oh, Smack. You race for X Speed Racing. Nice. Dude, hit me up on social media. Especially Instagram. Instagram's almost like my training log. So, this is my employer. They pay me to ride a bike this year. This is the channel. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to get paid to ride a bike this year, but here we are, folks. And look, if anybody offers to pay you to ride a bike, consider it, but don't assume it's going to be a utopia, all right? Because uh, it might be a little harder than you think. Everybody thinks it's, oh, I'm going to become a pro cyclist. It's going to be great. Well, be prepared because it raises your accountability way up, all right? Okay, you're riding a Trek Madone. Look, BMC Time Machine or BMC, what's the new one called? BMC Speed Machine. That would be my first pick for a TT bike. Second pick would be a Cervelo. These are bikes that the shop I ride for sells. Um, well, I don't know. It would be either a BMC or a Pinarello. I'm stuck between those two, and that's because I think BMC may have the best ride quality, but Pinarello is sort of the most aesthetic. So that's a tough one. BMC is not as aesthetically pleasing as Pinarello. Pinarello may have a slightly lower ride quality, but it might be more aero. They're putting those little fins all over the frames and stuff. And look, Filippo Ganna is probably my second favorite rider in the pro peloton right now. Filippo Ganna, the current world 1 hour record holder. I mean, that guy, and he rides a Pinarello. So I don't know. Pinarello or BMC are my first choice though. And Cervelo is like just as good. I mean, all three of those brands. Pinarello, Cervelo, BMC. You're not going to go wrong by getting one of those. Whether it's new or used, they are bonkers. And the Trek TT bike is great too, the Specialized. I just like Trek and Specialized are not friendly brands to our shop. So can't really recommend them, but Pinarello, BMC, and Cervelo, you don't need more alternatives than those. Those bikes are berserk. Oh man, that is how to start the day. Ride a bike, make some eggs, live stream, talk to people like you. Highly recommend it. It's so fun. Yeah, 175, 157, huh? I'm not sure how tall that is, but yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Ed Cycling, and definitely if you're on Instagram, definitely hit us up over there. We're all over the internet at Smashomash, and if you go to smashomash.com, links in the description. You can find us all over the place. Twitter. There's Facebook, facebook.com/Smashomash. There's more. There's a Discord chat and things. So I don't know about your sizing, man. That's not my specialty. The shop that I ride for has a pro bike fitter. The owner, Becky Quinn, she's a bike fitter, but that's not really my thing. I'm not a good mechanic, so like mechanic questions, I'm not really the best guy to ask about that stuff. Oh, nice. You got a Trek as well, SV Thor. What kind of Trek do you have? I'm interested. And OK Main says you ride on roads. Oh, yeah, mostly. But I'm ready to go off-road, gravel. If you gave me a unicycle, I would learn to ride it. I promise. Yeah, I know. OK Main. There are some roads that are real bad to ride, and that sucks. But I live in a place that people are used to seeing bikes. Lehigh Valley is an extremely active cycling community. It's one of the biggest cycling meccas in the country, and it has to do with the Valley Preferred Cycling Center. That's right in the Lehigh Valley in a place called Trexlertown, Pennsylvania. So the area around there features cars that are very used to seeing bikes. So, yeah, I mean, look, the way to make yourself safer when you're out on the road, the biggest thing is try to make eye contact with every car. If you're on the road by yourself, take a look back before that car coming passes you, because if it's hood ornaments coming right at you, you're going to notice. And ride off the road, like, don't get hit. You know what I mean? Like, if a line of cars passes you, at least look at the first one that goes by, and just keep in mind that there might be people behind them like this on their phone or with a self-crashing car that may run you over. So there's that. Yeah, certain roads are bad. I mean, and look, if there's a shoulder, if there's a white line, you're supposed to ride to the left of the white line, all right? Not on the shoulder. Because if you don't know the road, sometimes the shoulder just ends abruptly, and there are big cracks in the road, potholes, all kinds of debris on the shoulder. So, ride an inch to the left of the white line and just pay attention to who's passing you. There's a reason why some of us are able to ride thousands of miles every year and not get hit by cars, all right? It's a systematic thing. You have a bright flashing red light on the back, you have a bright flashing white light on the front. That makes a big difference. It gets people's attention. And like, don't wear these bland colors, right? Wear bright colors. That's why this jersey is designed this way, although it does represent the layers of the sun. The photosphere, the chromosphere, the lower corona, and the K corona. So yeah, all right, let me get the comments here because I see there are a number of them, and thanks again for everybody who's left some. Okay, Maine, that kind of sounds like a threat. You probably shouldn't tell people that your car's going to eat them for breakfast because, you know, criminal courts might eat you for breakfast. Like, don't hit a cyclist. You will definitely regret it. Unless you get away with it, then maybe not. But, you know, in Pennsylvania, if you leave the scene of an injury accident, instant felony, not recommended. If you'd like to be a felon, though, definitely, you know, do some hit and runs. You become a felon real quick. Just get a car, buddy. You are broke if you don't use disc brakes. You do realize that practically all cyclists own cars, right? I'm a professional driver as well as a cyclist. So get a clue. Get a car. I have 2 cars. Don't be a noob. Let's see. SV Thora Sailing. I've got discs on the e-bikes. Not really impressed with them. I'm not either. They have a bunch of extra weight. You want your bike to be 10 pounds heavier, have a massive battery inside the frame. All right, we're going to rush upstairs. I'm going to get to your comments here in a minute. I'm going to rush upstairs, cover news stories, talk briefly about the sun, and close this thing out because I got a lot of things to do today, and it's not just to talk to you rubes. You rubes! Just kidding, folks. Only some of you are rubes. And there are definitely museum-grade rubes on the tube, on El Tubo della Uo. All right. Heading to the Smash News Network. And let's turn on my crystal ball, shall we? Yeah, well, we shall. You think I'm kidding, right? Many of you have seen me forecast the future very successfully. Many of you have not. Perhaps you're new to the channel and you haven't seen me forecast anything. Well, that's fine. But let it be known that I don't just figure out the future figuratively. I figure out the future physically. There you go. It's whatever. And whoops, I gotta step out. I'll be right back. Since it's gonna be a warm day, I don't need the second jersey. All right, that's better. So yeah, I had 2 jerseys on this morning. That's what's up with that. All right, we've got some more comments here. Let me turn on my monitors, and I will get to them and plenty more. Yeah, plenty more. We even have a Twitch channel, by the way, if you've never seen it. It's twitch.com/Smashomash. What do you expect? Everything at Smasho. El Smasho del Masho Tank. All right, so just gonna check out the scene here, see what's going on with the closest star. And if you're into stargazing, there's no more interesting one to gaze at than the closest one. It's exciting even at solar minimum. All right, what do we got? Let's check out the coronagraphs first. Yeah, the coronagraphs. Do we have any Earth-directed CMEs? Yesterday there was one that came out of the west. That doesn't look earthly directed. Also out of the southwest. And it looks pretty clear. A bunch of activity there from the western limb, but nothing looking earthly directed. Sunspot number still way up, folks. Way up. We got almost 180 sunspots right now. So that's a lot. And we're bringing up the monthly average. Will we see a double peak during this sunspot cycle? Let us know in the comments what you think about that. Radio flux is, so sunspot number 169. Radio flux number about 153. 153, that's 153 solar flux units. And if you're new to space weather, the radio flux is the radio flux density. The sun puts out a 10.7 centimeter radio signal, and that signal is directly proportional to the sunspot number. So throughout a solar cycle, the sunspot number and the 10.7 centimeter radio flux, they rise and fall together. You got lots of sunspots, especially active ones, the radio flux comes way up. You got few sunspots, radio flux comes way down. Discovered in, I think, 1949 in Canada, and it is still mainly measured in Canada. All right, so do we have a forecast for any space weather incoming? Actually, there is a little bit. There is some geomagnetic unrest forecasted for tomorrow, August 12th. So maybe we'll see something with that, but that's going to be minor. Not expecting any serious aurora from that. Probably no mid-latitude aurora. Let me check solar filaments real quick, and I'll show you a quick animation. Oh, geez. 2 hour. Okay, that's not too bad. Lermonth, Australia has some pretty new data there. And we do have some massive filaments in the, what the heck? We have some massive filaments in the northeast. Wow. Those are really huge. Really huge. I'll put it on. I'll turn the camera here in a minute. Wow. Yeah, those are, I'd say it's 2 filaments. Here, take a look. You see right up here? That is a name-worthy solar filament. If you want to name it after your friends or foes, hit us up on Twitter. Use the hashtag #NameThatFilament. The last one we named after Sarah Husial, and the one over in the west, I forget who I named that after. But if you follow the hashtag #NameThatFilament on Twitter, you'll find all of the posts about that. All right, let's see. O'Doyle rules CS. Would that be Counter-Strike? Ever seen FPS Doug? Anyway, hey Ash, my Nana left her teeth at your place again. This needs to stop. I can't be running back and forth. I don't even understand why she takes them out at your place. Can you please explain? Oh, geez. Well, I'm not touching that one. OK Maine says, I'm in jail right now. Congratulations. What'd you go to jail for? Zaz Miritsu says, what's a noob? A noob is somebody who's new, like a newbie. You know, N-E-W-B-I-E. Gamers, we shorten things. So, noob, somebody who is new, unskilled, untrained, maybe even untalented. You know, because you can take the noob out of the server, but you might not be able to take the you can take the noob out of the server, but you can't take the noob out of the noob. Some noobs are incurably noobified. All right, what else do we have? Aw, no hates roadies. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, no hates roadies. Oh. What, did somebody slow you down for 4 seconds one time and now you're mad about it? Wow, I mean, hate, why such strong emotions for people you don't even know? Are you deranged? I heard psychiatrists are doing wonderful things at mental institutions nowadays. 2 deep-fried bike riders. You seem like a deep-fried viewer. Koken Productions says, do a crack pipe review. I don't think so, but we do have a We do have a channel called Devil's Dander. What are you wasting perfectly good cocaine and cooking it in the crack? What the hell's that all about? Roadies are rude and generally ignore road laws. Okay, but I'm a pro driver as well as a pro cyclist. So, okay. Yeah, roadies are rude and generally ignore road laws. But I don't. We all know that it's on us if we run a stop sign and get T-boned. So, you're not in any danger in your car. What's going to happen? Oh, you might get a dent. We might get killed. Get a clue. No crack pipe reviews. Okay, Maine says, I do not obey road laws. Maybe that's why you're in jail. In Pennsylvania, just go 15 over the speed limit and you can go to jail for reckless driving. All right, and we are done with the comments. So keep them coming. We've gotten to the end. And let's see. What do we have going on as far as news stories? We'll start out with the financial news, since that remains my main concern for the U.S. The economy, which is jacked up. If you think it's fixed because tariffs, you are deluded. Deluded, you are hallucinating and then believing the hallucinations. Please don't do that. Here's what U.S. automakers are saying about Trump's changing EV policies. That stands for electric vehicles, by the way. Which, by the way, I've been calling for since the 1980s. I'm not a bandwagon jumper like all the Tesla sycophantic fanboys out there. As a result of the changing EV landscape, under Trump, U.S. automakers are evaluating their product lineups and calculating the dollar impacts. Musk said the company is in a weird transition point, so sell the stock, as it deals with losing EV incentives in the U.S. Yeah, the company was built on government subsidies. So all the libertarians out there who are like, Elon Musk is our savior. Tesla was built on government subsidies. It probably wouldn't exist to this day if it wasn't for government subsidies. So there's that. Ford CEO Jim Farley says that they changed its EV spending and capital allocation pretty massively as a result of softer regulations. So that sounds like a buy signal for Ford. Yeah, Ford. And a lot of people like Ford, right? Why? Why do a lot of people like Ford? Libertarians especially. Because Ford refused the bailouts. Ford sent the money back. They said, we don't need your bailouts. We have sound financials. We're not an incompetent corporation. And incidentally, there's no company too big to fail. That's not a thing. Every company is small enough to fail. There's no such thing as a company that's too big to fail. That's made up talking points for crony capitalists. Crony capitalists. All right, what else do we have? Trump warns homeless to leave Washington, D.C. immediately. Leave immediately, homeless. Get the heck out of Washington, D.C. It's a cesspool of crime and corruption. Why would you want to be there? Go south. Go south, young homeless. Go south. J.P. Morgan raises price target on something, I don't care. Marketing trends, S&P 500 is on the cusp of another record. That's a good thing. We like to see high stock market prices. However, I would remind our viewers that the stock market is not the economy. It's just one little aspect of the economy. All right, let's take a look at some more news stories here. We're going to have about 10 more minutes for you type people to leave comments, and then it's going to end abruptly. It's going to end abruptly like a two-pump chump. Hedge fund short stocks at fastest pace in 4 months as retail bid fades. Okay, retail stocks are hurting, I guess. I don't know. All right. China's hoarding gold. China's hoarding gold, folks. China. The paper tiger of the East. They'd like you to be spooked of China, even though China is more of a danger to China than to anybody else. All right, what do we got? Cryogenic steel for fusion reactors. Copper stocks to watch, blah, blah, blah. Must have been a boring weekend because there's nothing interesting going on. Trump Putin Alaska summit, peace talks and power plays on former Russian soil. What? Trump and Putin met and that's barely in the news? What is up with that? Is that for real? Trump says true to his line. Trump stays true to his line and asserts dominance over the geopolitical chessboard. Sure he does. Symbolically as well. Oh yeah. Symbolic. Yeah. Oh, what dominance. Following the announcement of a trade deal with the EU at his golf resort in Turnberry, Scotland, peace talks in the Ukraine conflict with Russian Vladimir Putin are now scheduled in Alaska. Oh, that's good. Peace talks are scheduled. Cheers. Sounds like it could have some potential. XLM looking good. Yeah, Stellar Lumens. That's right. Type it SV Thora Sailing. Stellar Lumens. Yeah, I'm well into profit territory on those, I think. And yeah, Stellar Lumens. XLM, folks. XLM. Take a look at it. Global inflation outlook. Guess what? Inflation is projected to remain elevated, especially in Russia and China and Canada. Well, actually, China and Canada are looking pretty good. Looks like Spain and Portugal aren't having that much inflation, and neither are Sweden and Finland. But Norway's going to have quite a bit, 2.5 to 8%, just like the U.S. 2.5 to 8% inflation. Okay, Maine's a crypto millionaire. Well, I imagine you've got the best cigarettes in jail. That's congratulations for you. Let us know in the comments when you're going to get out. The price of being a superpower. The price of being a superhero, folks. That is a heavy price. All right, let's check out one more news aggregator here. And then let's call it a day. Trump bid for cut of NVIDIA and AMD revenue risks dangerous world. Oh, no, not a dangerous world. Oh, my God. It's going to be World War III. It's going to be a chip war. And oh, no. What is this story? What is he even saying here? Even an administration that has repeatedly pushed the legal limits of using economic statecraft to reshape the global business landscape, a new deal with two tech giants is raising alarm bells among trade experts. NVIDIA and AMD, I should say, they agreed to pay the U.S. government 15% of revenue from some chip sales to China. What? Ugh. Tariffs, they harm the economy, especially the U.S. economy, because it's a consumer-driven service economy. We don't need to bring manufacturing back. That's like you're like in like World War II. You're as outdated as World War II if you think we have to bring manufacturing back. That is nonsense. The U.S. needs to lead the way so that other places create service economies. Emerging markets are where the factories get built. They build the cheap industrial stuff, and first world countries have service economies for a reason. Not like bring manufacturing back. Manufacturing needs to go to places that are like emerging market locations. You know, India has towns where they have no electricity, no plumbing, and dirt floors. Build a factory next to that town. That's where things should be manufactured, because then they'll advance into the first world like everybody else. That's how it works. It's not complicated. It's pretty simple. But when you ruin the economy or damage the economy with government intervention via taxes, people that think taxes stimulate the economy have empty swimming pools. Why? Because they're dummies. Here's why. If taxes stimulate the economy, you fill your swimming pool by dipping water out of the deep end, spilling like 60% of it, and pouring the remainder in the shallow end. That's That's like Bernie Sanders' economy. Bernie Sanders thinks taxes stimulate the economy. The government is corrupt, so since it's in collusion with the big corporations, the government must get bigger because it's so corrupt that we gotta make it bigger so that it's able to regulate itself or something. All right, what else do we have here? Let's see. United Nation Edits says, I am Venezuela trillionaire. Sure you are. You keep on believing that. No, are you serious? You got 3 years in prison for injuring 2 bike riders. Are you serious? Like, wouldn't be surprised. Were you charged with, I don't know, reckless endangerment? Was it attempted murder? You know, there are places that have a specific law about assault with a deadly weapon motor vehicle. So yeah, I mean, don't do a close pass. Almost like everybody has cameras and trackers and all kinds of things. Emergency service like you will get busted. Don't hit a cyclist. It'll be your worst day of driving ever, perhaps. The gap between rent and household income is 140%. I would agree. You know how much our rent is here? We live in a condo, okay? The rent here is over $2,000 a month. Yeah, the Lehigh Valley. If you want to move here, you better be rich because the real estate values are bonkers. They are off the chart high. It's pretty serious. Oh, you barely hit the riders. You're only going 70. Yeah, sure. Okay, Maine. Okay, Maine. Not believing you. You sound like a fraud. So, I have street cred. You have, what? Do you have a monetized channel? Maybe I'll check it out later. If it gets any higher, you might not be able to afford those aerodynamic retard clothes for biking, LMAO. Oh, good one. Retard clothes that you look like a sausage in a casing if you would wear them? I mean, what makes a guy hot? Anybody? Anybody like to guess? What makes a guy hot? What makes a guy hot is when he looks better the less clothing he has on. Figure that one out. Somebody's car fell off a cliff while people were having sex in it. Parked at a scenic overlook. It's not as scenic as it used to be, though. It's a cradle robber. She was 42 and he was only 26. Was that drunk parking, folks? Let us know in the comments. Was it drunk parking? Chosen One says, bust a fart out, bro. Is that Shiner beer? You're not Chosen One from Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, are you? Are you that guy from the Buffalo Butt BBC, the Buffalo Butt Clinchers? Hot? Wearing spandex over 90 degrees? Yeah. It's because you don't wear cotton when it's really hot out. Actually, and just so you know, I feel good and smell better. So, yeah, that's one of my things. Like, I might look kind of gritty, but I smell absolutely fantastic. This morning's ride was an easy ride. I didn't really break a sweat. So, there's that. All right. Did you know the average age of a home buyer in the U.S. is currently 56 years old? Yeah, 56 is the average age of a new mortgagee. That's an interesting piece of news. By the way, if you want recipes and longevity tips, we've got them at smashomash.com/forum. So check that out. You can find links on the homepage to the forum. It's completely free. You can submit your recipes. I know we've been amassing some. I haven't been able to check yet because super busy doing a lot of cool things like every day, creating new brands like every day. I keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few keys as we breeze through 2 in the morning and the party's still jumping because my mama ain't home. Actually, she probably is. She's probably out of bed for about an hour. She lives in Oviedo, Florida, by the way. If you'd like to go visit her, please don't. That's vague enough. You won't be able to find her. If you go around asking who Smasho's mom is, it's not. I'm not famous enough for that. So I'll have to buy her a new place when that happens. SV Thora Sailing says, "Get ready for distressed mortgage auctions. Have your coin ready, bud." Yeah, I've got a real estate agent who's also somewhat of a friend. So yeah, she's fantastic. Pete Buttigieg says Democrats would be smart to follow one of Trump's pro-family campaign promises to protect IVF treatments, in vitro fertilization. Yeah, I mean, what the heck? Like, people who can't reproduce are more likely to reproduce because they want to, because IVF, for everybody who says, that's the devil. That's supposed to be God that does that. Okay. Like, where's the line for that? Like, how much of your environment are you allowed to control before it becomes sacrilegious, right? Can I dig a hole? Like, is that legal, or was that God's ground that I disturbed, right? Like, where's the line? Like, why would we be barred from doing anything that we can do with technology? Like, what? I hear that all the time. Like, you're messing with get, like, what? Like, CERN is going to open a gateway to hell, folks. Oh, noes. I mean, we've had people tell me that CERN is causing sunspots to form. That's how much they know about magnetic fields. It's pretty pathetic. All right. We'll take a brief look at Earth weather and close this thing out. We've got 5 minutes. So if you've got more comments, if you'd like to make fun of my wardrobe, I'll bet my wardrobe is vastly bigger than yours, by the way. I have an entire room full of, like, just for my clothes, okay? I collect military camo. I've got snowboard gear. I've got cycling clothes to ride in all 4 seasons, including when the high temperature is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I've got normal person clothes. I even have a chrome outfit. So, yeah. If you want to make fun of the wardrobe, I'm a real clothing snob. You're probably a clothing noob. So bring on the comments. All right. I've had haters from my first bike race until the last time I did a group ride, I'm sure. So bring it on, because my haters have been like actual athletes, officials, race organizers, my own peers, teammates sometimes turn into haters, family members turn into haters on the regs. So hate away. It's if you think it's going to hurt my feelings, that is adorable. That is just adorable. Yo, look at the low moving across Kansas. Kansas City, you are about to get kaplastered. Look at the size of this storm. It is half of the state of Kansas. Look at that thing. That is berserk. The southeastern part of it looks the strongest, but there's a huge central region there that is going to produce damaging winds and hail, probably, and possibly things like tornadoes. We'll bring it up in the water vapor, and then we'll close this thing out. I want to show you that because that is pretty wicked looking. And yeah, so Kansas City, it might be Kansas shitty. Hopefully you don't get hailstorms and, do all kinds of damage to so many cars. Check it out. There's a weak low in the Atlantic too. Look at that right there. There's a weak low. It's all surrounded by, can you see that? It's all surrounded by dry mass of air there. So that's looking real weak. But it is rotating counterclockwise. So that is definitely a low. But this one, that one is just, let's zoom in on that thing. That is bonkers. Must be cold air from Canada there to the north of that. Look at that thing. Look at how much rain just fell there. Look at that. There's a lot of moisture, and boom, it's all gone. That is rapid rainfall. Eastern Nebraska. Jeez. Eastern Nebraska and Kansas. You have been kaplastered, inundated, and it's looking like a bad time. Hopefully everybody's doing all right there. Seems like a good place to invest in a kayak. And let's take a look at Saharan dust. We'll close out with that. Jones says, "Brother man, we are in the end times," and you are just incorrect. The end is not near. Our finest days lie ahead, and extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So come up with some, Jones, because just saying, "Brother man, we're in the end times," that is not anything. You're probably listening to a lot of nonsense on YouTube, and there certainly is plenty of it. Let me reiterate. The end is not near. Our finest days lie ahead, and grifters who say the end is near, they just lie. Our finest days lie ahead. Doomsday prophets just lie, as they have throughout all of civilization's history. So here is the Duex. This is the dust extinction. We're looking at surface winds, and we're looking at a really big cloud of Saharan dust. So we did post about this. There was a community post on Facebook. There are community posts on YouTube as well as on our other socials. Look at that dust cloud. That is a legit dust cloud. So this area here, you're not going to see any big tropical developments there because Saharan dust tamps down tropical systems by preventing convection. So that's what's going on in the South Atlantic, or the tropical Atlantic, subtropical Atlantic. And that north that's off the coast of Newfoundland, that's a weak low. It is surrounded by dry massive air. So the Antichrist finna come back. Okay, who's it going to be? I mean, they got to be born in modern day Iraq based on your biblical prophecy. So tell me who it is. Tell me who it is. I mean, not scared of the Antichrist or of the end times or of doomsday or of the apocalypse. Like, not convinced. Show extraordinary evidence. Sloppy says, "Are you MAGA?" I do not and will not ever likely support any political candidates. I will be super critical of all of them because all politicians are incompetent, offering lip service instead of actual solutions. Even the folks in Congress who I kind of like, they just, we're going to do this, we're going to make government smaller, we're going to reduce spending. All they do is sign bills that increase spending. It's complete fraud. So, like, if you say, "Are you MAGA?" like, what does that really mean? Does that mean, am I a Trump supporter? Well, certainly not. He's a politician. So, no, not supporting any politicians. I will endorse no politicians probably ever on the channel. And that's a great place to close out this video. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, folks. It's about time to close this thing out. It's 8 o'clock. So I've got things to do, places to go, people to see, but it's been delightful as always doing a live stream with people just like you. If you viewed in syndication or if you viewed live, let us know in the comments what you think. If we missed a news story, let us know in the comments about that. Maybe we'll even make another video later today and share it. But in any case, thanks for tuning into the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. I've been your host, Dan, aka Smash Mash, signing off. Until next time, may that solar wind be at your back.